for uh people, and sometimes when I'm doing genealogy, we'll come across something like this. And I'll talk to people and I'll let them know, like, yo, listen, I found out that you Choctaw. And I'm telling them with confidence because I'm like, I found a record and I've already verified it. You know what I'm saying? These your ancestors or whatever. And so when they see this document, as you can see right here across the front, it says rejected. So when they see this document, they're like, well, what does it mean when they say rejected? I'm like, oh, well, they got rejected from the tribe. Now, initially, when I tell them I found some Choctaw records, I tell them I found it, they excited. And they should be. You should be excited because I just tracked down your Indian ancestry. But once I let them see the actual record and they see rejected on it, their mindset goes from being excited that they Indian to, well, I mean, so what? I mean, it says rejected. So what they saying? I'm not Indian. So all of a sudden, their entire aura changes just based off of a word that say rejected on there. Now let me tell you why. Because again, we are stuck in an indoctrination of these Europeans. We are letting these Europeans control our mindset. They control how you feel off the rip. Soon as I tell them I found a Mississippi Choctaw record, they're excited. But soon as they see rejected, they like, oh man, so I ain't Indian. That is not what this is saying. Yes, this person got rejected on their application to be a part of the tribe. But does that mean that you're not Indian? Absolutely not. Because there were a few factors that went into why these people got rejected. And we're going to read about those factors. There were factors that went into why these people didn't get accepted. And as you can see, we can blow this up right here. This is just a random one I got off Google. But as you can see, this guy name is Frank Nicholas, right? This is the person that's applying for the Choctaw Nation. Now, right off the bat, you should be excited because this person knew exactly what tribe they was from. They knew that. And right here on the side, they list right here the blood quantum. He said, I'm a quarter. I'm 1/4. Okay. He told them how much blood he had. He said, I'm 1/4. Even though we didn't do things based off blood quantum back then, because back then in the early 1800s, this dude would have been a member of the tribe. It didn't have shit to do with how much blood he had. If you descended from a Choctaw Indian, you a Choctaw Indian, and that's the same thing today. Nothing's changed. It's the same thing today. If you descend from Indians, you are an Indian. It is no different. It is no different because it was based all on a few factors. Now watch this. Nicholas Frank, he said he 38 mil, he 1/4 right here, right? Then if you go over to the the uh the uh uh uh, uh the other side, it says name of father. His father is OVO Nicholas, dead. His father was not a citizen. Then he said name of mother, I think it says Olivia or Eulivia or something like that. I don't know what the hell that say. Nicholas dead, claimed Choctaw. So what he's saying is my mother was half Choctaw. That's what he's trying to say. My mother was half Choctaw. Because if he's 1/4, he was saying his mother was half Choctaw. That's where his Choctaw claiming come in there. So he knew how he was Indian. So when I found something like this, you should be excited because I just found your tribe. These people knew who they were, just like your grandmother knew she was Indian. These people knew who they were. Why would he be trying to claim this tribe if he didn't know he was Mississippi Choctaw? Why would he claim this tribe? You think he just woke up one day and just claimed a random tribe? No, he knew where he was from. He knew where he was from. So when you find something like this, you know you Indian based off of this alone, because your ancestors wouldn't have applied to this tribe if they didn't know who they were. But you got to understand, there were a lot of race laws and racism put in place to stop us from joining these tribes. You got to understand that. You have to understand that. So when I find something like this, you should be excited. You shouldn't be letting a white man control how you feel. Once you see this, you know you Indian, because your ancestors applied to this tribe for a reason. But again, racism was a factor that came into play, stopping us from getting tribal citizenship. And we're going to read about it. It's a shame. It's a shame that we're still letting these Europeans dictate our emotions on how we feel about who we are. As long as the white man said, it's got to be true. The white man, we still got that plantation spirit is still set in our people, man. It's that plantation spirit. It's still there. Long as the white man said, long as Massa said, then it's got to be true, because Massa said it. There were, during this time, there were Europeans controlling these tribes in the 1900s, which, as you can see, that's where this is from. The Europeans were controlling these tribes. So they were the ones saying who was Indian and who's not. But at the same time, while they were rejecting our people, they were letting full-blooded Europeans join the tribe. At the same time, while they were rejecting our people, they were letting full-blooded Europeans join the tribe, because they looked at it as a way of survival. Well, I don't want to mix my blood with no niggas. I'll mix it with these white people, though, so our race can stay pure. When y'all not even the originals. When the people who were running the tribe at this time wasn't even the originals. The originals were people like me and you, which I am a part of the Mississippi Choctaw tribe. And luckily, I just happen to have documentation on my ancestors that they were a part of the tribe. But that's not even here or there. What I'm trying to say is, again, we are the originals. So what they do, kick the originals out and call them black, Negro, colored, mulatto. But let's go. Like I said, they kick us out. At the same time, they let Europeans join the tribe. But let's see what was going on. What happened to make them what happened? What kind of law? What was put in place to that these people were denied? How did these people get denied? We're gonna see it. We're gonna look on the Dawes Road. They're gonna tell us how. Watch this. It says Dawes Road applicants listed as identified Mississippi Choctaw experienced an application process that was different than that was different than that of other enrollees. Although most individuals had to live in Indian Territory to apply for the Dawes Roll, Mississippi Choctaw were the exception. Most identified Mississippi Choctaw resided in Mississippi at the beginning of the enrollment process. The Dawes Commission set up offices in Mississippi and began the process of interviewing applicants. While other tribes maintained records and census rolls that could verify an applicant's identity, the Mississippi Choctaw had few records. You see that? The Mississippi Choctaw had few records. So now, as we read on, they're going to tell you how they were able to determine who was a citizen and who was not. They're going to tell you how they did this. Watch this. So Mississippi Choctaw had few records, right? Watch this. It says the Dawes Commission made judgments based on an applicant's Choctaw characteristic. You see that? Based on a Choctaw's characteristic. So it was all based on how you look. Again, it's going back to the look factor. How you look determined your citizenship. How you look. So if you was too black and you look too much like a Negro, no, he's not Choctaw. But if you look like a Mongoloid, oh, he's Choctaw. Or if you look like a European with blue eyes and blonde hair, oh, he's Choctaw. But no, not no kinky hair, dark skinned people. Oh, we don't want that. Even though that's how they looked at the beginning. Even though that's how the original Choctaws look. But oh no, if they look like that, those are Negroes. We gonna kick them out. Those are Negroes. But they gotta look like Asian. They gotta look like Jet Li in order for us to let them in. If they don't look like Bruce Lee, we're not gonna let them in. If they don't look like Sitting Bull, we're not gonna let them in. They gotta look like that. This is the whole game. It says based on the Choctaws characteristics, such as their appearance. You see that? Such as their appearance. It was all based on looks. That they try to make it seem like it was other factors, but it was all based on looks. If you looked European, you got in. If you looked like a Mongoloid, you got in. But if you looked like you had any type of Negro ancestry, nope. Even though we could prove that there were tribes that were full-blooded who looked like Negroes. We can prove that. There are pictures of the Shoshone tribe. They all look like black people with straighter hair. That's all they look like. And we see how we straighten our hair out. They had bear grease. They did all of that back then. It says, such as their appearance or ability to speak Choctaw language. The Dawes Commission was bombarded with fraudulent applications. When it says that was bombarded with fraudulent applications, what they're trying to say is you got to learn how to read between the lines of these wicked ass people. When it says that it was bombarded with fraudulent applications, what they're saying is it was bombarded with Choctaws that look like Negroes. That's what they're trying to say. It was bombarded with fraudulent applications from across the U.S. trying to secure an allotment. Applicants who were deemed eligible for citizenship were listed as identified. You see that? It says identified Mississippi Choctaw had to remove to Choctaw Chickasaw lands in Indian Territory and establish residency. After a period of time, individuals could submit proof of their removal and receive an approved Dawes roll number and a land allotment. Of the 2,597 applicants listed as identified Mississippi Choctaw, only 1,457 received an approved roll number. Some applicants died during the enrollment process, while others might have been born too late, but were still listed on an identified Mississippi Choctaw card. Those that were identified but did not remove to Indian Territory and submit proof of their residency did not receive an approved roll number. You see that? So the people who were identified, who they knew was Choctaw, but did not remove to Indian Territory, that did not ended up going to Oklahoma, is what they're saying, and submit proof of their residency, did not receive an approved roll number. So the people who chose to stay behind, who said, you know what, I'm not going to go, I'm not relocating to Oklahoma. I'm going to stay in Mississippi. Those people did not receive an approved roll number, even if they was full-blooded Choctaw. It didn't matter. So that's why you see these applications where people will go back later and say, yeah, hey, my dad was Choctaw, and try to get accepted into the tribe. And then you see this big rejected thing, because by that time they had a certain criteria and a certain role that they went off of. So by that time they said, look, if they're not on this 1902 roll, then we're not gonna let them or this 1900 roll. They got to be on this one. If they're not on this one, we're not accepting them as members of the tribe. So it wouldn't matter how much Choctaw blood you had. If your ancestors wasn't on that roll, you're not going to be accepted. So what I'm trying to say is, just because this says rejected, that does not mean that you're not Indian. That just means you didn't meet the qualifications for what the tribe wanted you to meet in order to be a member. Your ancestor clearly knew they was Indian. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is the wickedness that went on. This is all that blood quantum shit that was created by the U.S. government to keep people like me and you out. As I've told y'all this story many times, when I contacted the White Mountain Apache Nation, when I was ignorant and didn't know nothing about joining the tribe and all of that, when I contacted them, They told me the same thing. They was like, well, you don't have enough blood, but we'll put on your on your birth certificate that you are a descendant, because I proved my descendancy to them. They made me do that. So I proved my descendancy to the White Mountain Apache Nation. So they told me that they will put on my birth certificate that I am a descendant, which eventually I did let them do that. They did that. They did stamp my birth certificate and it says I'm a descendant. But that's not even the whole point of what I'm saying is all this blood quantum shit was all just set up for for them to kick us out. Because guess what? If this was back in the 1700s, this dude right here, Nicholas Frank, this dude would have been a member of the tribe and his kids. They would have all been members if this was back in the before the Europeans came and set all this shit up. Even in the 1800s, my bad, y'all. In the 1800s, I'm talking about, put it like this, before the Dawes Roll was created. Before the Dawes Roll was created, these people would have been members of the tribe, because they are descendants of Choctaw Indians, and his kids would have been members, and their kids would have been members, and their kids would have been members. It didn't matter about how they looked. They were descendants of Choctaw Indians, so they would have been accepted into the tribe. So this is the type of shit that be going. This is why when y'all run across stuff like this, don't sit back and beat yourself up because your ancestors didn't get accepted. You got to know you Choctaw. Rep that shit. Learn that shit. Learn that your language. Speak it. I do the same thing. Now, fortunately, I didn't have to go through this because, like I said, I have a grandmother that's on the U.S. Indian Census Roll. She's on the 1937 U.S. Indian Census Roll, full-blooded Mississippi Choctaw. But then I didn't go through this rejected thing, but still I went through, you're only 1/16th. So since you're only 1/16th, we can't give you a tribal citizenship. Man, get the fuck out of here. You're 1/16th, so we can't do nothing with that. I don't give a damn about that. I don't want to join your tribe anyway. I wasn't trying to join them European ass tribes. What I was calling for, I was trying to get the roll from them, which they did send that information. I didn't want to join your tribe. It's too many Europeans over there. That's Europe. It's a European tribe. It's the tribe of Europe now. That's what it is. None of the original Choctaws are there. They're the tribe of Europe. That's exactly who they are. So I didn't want to join anyways. I know who I am, and that's why I speak my language, and that's why you know what I'm saying? I know all of that. I researched what type of people my ancestors were, all of that. And then you have a lot of these Mongoloids who will say, well, y'all ain't Indian. Y'all don't speak the language. I do speak my language. Just because I don't speak it the way you want me to say it, just because I don't say it the way you want me to say it, I'm hood. I'm a street nigga. I'm hood. I'm learning this shit. So at the end of the day, just because I don't say it the way those Mongoloids say it, I don't give a fuck. I still know it. I can speak it. And obviously you understand what I'm saying when I say it. You understand what I'm saying when I say it, because obviously y'all make videos and all of that making fun of it. So you understand that I know how to speak Choctaw. Okay. You still get, they didn't make a video to say, oh, he's saying he's not speaking Choctaw. That wasn't the title of their video. The title of their video wasn't, oh, he's not speaking Choctaw. That wasn't a title. The title was, watch how fluent this person said and look at how he's saying it. I don't have to say it like a Mongoloid. I'm learning it my way. And I'm still learning more Choctaw. I know a lot, but I'm still learning the other words and other, phrases and sentences and stuff. But the whole point of what I'm saying is, once you know where you're from, understand what these people were like, how these people live, because a lot of our culture got stripped from us, and rightfully so. Who the fuck would know? Okay, just like you got and this is stupid for Mongoloids to try to say, oh, well, since you don't know the language or the culture, you're not Choctaw. That's a stupid ass reason, because Even the people who y'all say is African Americans from West Africa, they don't know how to speak no West African language. Not one shred of West African language. So that means they're not West African either. Y'all say they West African, they don't speak a shred of West African language. So that means they're not West African. They don't keep none of West African culture, so they're not West African. This is the same shit. When you are taken away from a certain culture, of course you're going to lose your culture. I know full-blood Native Americans, Mongoloids, who do not speak their language because they didn't grow up speaking that language. I dated one, so I know she could not speak Cherokee that well. I was a lot younger when I dated her, but she could not speak a lot of Cherokee at all. She could say some words here and there, but she was full-blooded Cherokee because she moved away and lived in a more urban neighborhood. She liked black people. So she didn't live on a reservation. She didn't grow up with her parents like that. She did her own thing. And she didn't learn that language. So just because you don't know the language don't make you Choctaw. Just because you see rejected on these applications don't make you Choctaw. Claim that shit.